Hey guys, what's up? It's filtersc here, and I'm back for just a really short, quick little video. This time I wanted to talk about how the matchmaking works, how it works with your league, and why sometimes you'll experience like a pretty big discrepancy between players within the same league, and why you shouldn't be that discouraged even if, last season you were diamond or whatever, and this season you're already, you're sitting in silver or whatever. And I'm going to talk about why it doesn't really matter all that much, and how the matchmaking works, how your league works, and all that kind of stuff, because it's a really misunderstood concept, and honestly, it's not really done that well in StarCraft. So we're going to talk about it, we're going to get it figured out. This is a response to a comment in one of the last YouTube videos that I made, so if you want me to cover something, just, let me know in the comments below, and if it's something I have a little bit of knowledge on, I'll let you guys know. But to get onto this, basically what he said was he was diamond at the end of Heart of the Swarm, and he got placed into silver at Star Legacy of the Void, and then on top of that, he started kind of getting his ass kicked in silver. And there's a number of reasons for that. First and foremost, Diamond and Heart of the Swarm was a pretty big, pretty wide league, right? So depending on where you were within Diamond, it might not even be that unreasonable that you might get silver or gold out of the gate in Legacy of the Void, especially if your playstyle isn't that suited to Legacy and you haven't really adapted yet. Once you get the adaptation out of the way, you can expect to start climbing. The other thing that can happen to you, and this is really, really super common, an example of this is, you guys all know Nathanis. He's a really, really, really good player, and, he was kicking it in Platinum, and the reason for that, and he was still losing games, and the reason for that is he's obviously a lot better than your average Platinum player, and he'll get up to Masters and he'll get up to GM in no time at all. But what happens is the game will sometimes hold on a little bit when it's going for the promotion, and what ends up happening is you end up with a bunch of players that are not necessarily of Platinum caliber, like they could be Diamond or they could be Masters caliber players. You could be a Silver player, you could be Platinum caliber, but what's happening is you're playing against other Silver players that are of Platinum caliber, and it's a really weird phenomenon. But basically what happens is the way the game's matchmaking works is it first and foremost tries to match you against people that are in your league, and then it tries to match you based on MMR. So what ends up happening is all the really, really good players within a certain league typically will play each other. So if you're, a Silver player or whatever, and you're doing really, really well, your MMR can be really quite high. It can be, 2 or 3 leagues sometimes above what it's supposed to be. And, you'll get promoted eventually, and it won't take that long. But what's happening is it's going to put you up against players that are really, really good as well. So, you're not playing against the average representation of a Silver player or a Gold League player when stuff like that's happening to you. So don't worry about it. You're going to get out of there. You're going to, boost yourself back up. And if you want to figure out kind of where you do sit, one of the easiest ways to do it is just to look at your point gains. Because the points in your league are actually based on MMR. So, if you're playing in Silver League or whatever and you play against a Diamond player, and whether you beat him or lose to him, you're going to get like 40 points or something like that, if your MMR is a lot higher than your league, right? So all these guys that are in, Silver, Gold, Platinum, whatever, it doesn't matter, but they're actually of a couple of leagues above that in terms of caliber, they're going to get a lot more points for a win, and they're going to lose almost nothing when they lose. And I'll show you an example of that where I was playing Arkham mode with my buddy. And as you can see, we didn't really do that well. We went 6-6. We ended up placing in Silver, but in those games, it's pretty clear that, we're playing relatively good players, and the game just gave us a conservative placement, and we're going to have to fight our way out of it, right? And you can tell this because we're getting basically max points for a win. We're getting 46, 44, that'll be bonus pool, and then like -2, plus 23, there's no bonus pool here anymore. -2, -1, plus 22, right? So we're getting a lot of points for a win, and we basically don't lose anything when we lose, right? And that's because we're playing against other Silver ranked teams, but they also have really high MMR as well. And everybody's going to get promoted eventually, but we're playing in this like weird little pool of players, and this can happen to like anybody. So if you get jammed in a league, really pay attention to your point gain and your point loss. If you want to try to figure out if you shouldn't, if it's just kind of a goofy thing and you're in one of those weird tiers of player where you're going to get a lot of points for a win, you're going to get almost no points taken away when you lose, and you're going to get promoted rather quickly. You don't have to worry about it. On the other end of the scale, though, if you're in a league that's maybe above your skill level and a little bit too high in terms of caliber, it'll be the opposite, right? Maybe not to this extreme example, But if you're, let's say you're in platinum league, but you're more of a silver player, you're going to match up against other players, ironically enough, in platinum that are more like silver caliber players more often than not. It's actually, you're not, you're going to hit a few golds and you'll hit the odd silver and stuff like that too. But you're actually going to hit a lot of players within your own league, but they're all going to have that tanked MMR. So what's going to happen is when you win a game, you might only get, 10, 11, 12 points or something, and when you lose, you might end up losing a lot more than that. You might lose 25 or 30, right? So the median point in terms of StarCraft 2 is actually typically around the 12 to 15 point range, and that's about average for a league, right? So that means if you're getting 12 to 15 points for a win, and you're losing 12 to 15 points for a loss, that means you're at about the median average, and the game has a pretty good idea where you should be, and you're not really ready to get promoted, you're not ready to get demoted, you're about in the right spot. If you're getting more points than you lose typically, that means you're ready for a promotion, right? It's the same thing. When you look at a Masters tier, what happens is a lot of the Masters players will start to work their way up and work their way out of it. And, the high Masters, this is kind of why Masters is a goofy league, but the high Masters players will have 300, 400, 500 more points than the guy below them, even though they spent all their bonus pool, right? And you'll start to see a shakeout throughout the league. There'll be guys quite low in the league, halfway through or whatever, that have spent all their bonus pool. And, if you rank 25 or 30 in Masters and you spend all your bonus pool, you are in the low Masters category, right? It's not mid Masters, it's relatively low. So just really pay attention if you want to know more about what you're doing and more about that kind of stuff. Like, just watch your points and see what happens there. That's the easiest way to tell if you're in the right league, if you're looking for a promotion really, really soon. In a situation like this, 5-10 games maybe we'll get promoted for sure, assuming we can keep up a half decent win rate. Even something like 50% would be good enough at that point. And it's not about being ranked 1 or 2 in your league or anything like that, right? You can pay a lot more attention to your points and kind of figure out if you're going to be getting out of that league anytime soon, and you can kind of place yourself a little bit better and have more confidence, because at the end of the day, if you did get kind of crushed, and I feel like Legacy is really conservative on placements and really conservative on promotions based on what I've seen of a bunch of people on my friends list. You have to be really careful because you can't get disheartened that early and that quickly. And that's really all I have to say on the subject. It's a bit of a complicated one. Sorry, there's not really any video content behind it because it is just a ladder discussion. But it should give you a better idea of what you're looking to do with your own gameplay, and try to figure out maybe there's just something wrong with how you're playing in Legacy and you got to try to patch that out and fix it. Or maybe you're just in a case where you're in a league that's a couple divisions too low and you're playing against people that are also in a league that's a couple divisions too low. Anyway, guys, my name is filtersc. I'll see you in the next video. Make sure you have yourselves a good one, and I will talk to you later.